It's so crisp, it's as if you're almost there. Well, not quite. This is the brand new 10.5-inch iPad Pro. I've just got it today. I'm looking forward to reviewing it, but first, let's have a little unbox. See what we've got, see what's new, how it compares to the iPad Pro 9.7, and just have a bit of a nose around. So let's get straight to it and see what we've got inside. And there we have it, the 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Put it to one side just for a second. In the box, you've got the lightning cable to USB, along with the instructions and things, and also, of course, the power. So that's all well and good. So setup is done, and we're on the home screen of the new 10.5-inch iPad Pro. And the very first thing you will notice is how much faster it feels. And that's not just because it's running the new A10X Fusion processor, which is faster, but it's because it's got a new 120 Hz display. What that means is the screen refreshes 120 times a second rather than 60 times a second, which the previous iPad and most displays do. That means everything looks and feels smoother, more responsive. It also means if you've got the Apple Pencil, it's more responsive, there's less latency. It just feels so much faster and smoother. Now, unfortunately, this isn't actually something you can see. This video is being shot at 30 FPS, and even if I was shooting at 60, you still wouldn't get the full benefit of the 120 Hz refresh. It's only something you can see in real life. This new 10.5 is the only one to have that high refresh screen, and by itself, it's almost worth upgrading from any other iPad you may have. So while the high refresh rate may be the first thing you notice, there is quite a lot else that's new on the 10.5. And to show you that, let me bring in the old 9.7-inch iPad Pro. And straight away you can see that the bezels on the side are quite a bit slimmer on the new one. They've reduced the bezels, increased the screen to body ratio, so you're getting a bigger display in a more compact device. But as you can see, in terms of design, they're almost identical, except for the slight size difference. There's really not much in it, at least on the back here. But I actually reckon from the front, you can tell a difference. It does look a bit smarter and more modern than the new one. The bezels, as I say, all around are a little bit thinner. It just feels a bit more modern. So let's have a little look around the device. We've still got 4 speakers, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top, introduced on the original Pro. We've got a 12 megapixel camera. It's pretty much the same one that's on the iPhone 7. And we've also got, obviously, a lightning port at the bottom. And you'll be pleased to hear still a headphone port on the top. And it's also got the same smart connector on the side, so that allows you to connect it to the smart keyboard and other peripherals. It's still super thin at 6.1 millimeters and weighs 469 grams, or basically 1 pound. So it's really lightweight and still feels great in the hand. The screen's also a bit brighter. We've got 500 nits on the old one and 600 nits on the new one. So if we do a little side by side here, if I bring up the brightness to the max on both, you can see it's not a huge difference, but the right one here is just a little bit brighter. So if you are using it on the go, out and about, this will be your best bet. It will be easier to use in direct sunlight. And also the screen is less reflective than the old model. So if I bring them up like this, you should be able to see, if you look at the window there, you can see it reflects like that versus that. So actually not really much of a difference. They say it's less reflective, but not a huge difference there, but well, that's what it says on the tin. Inside we've got a new A10X Fusion processor, which honestly, I just don't know if you're going to really notice that speed improvement. iPads are so fast anyway. The old Pro just, there was no slowdown anyway, so how you'll actually notice that difference in speed is, well, that's something for the full review, which I'll be testing. Although Apple do claim that this can actually edit 4K video, so maybe I'll give that a go. Slightly annoyingly, this does ship with iOS 10, not the latest iOS 11, which was just announced at WWDC. That actually will add quite a lot of good iPad features, including a dock and some proper file management systems, as well as being able to drag and drop files between apps. Now in terms of storage, the minimum you can go for is 64 gigs, which is great to see, but you also have 256 and 512 gigabyte options. So if you are considering using the iPad 10.5 as like a laptop replacement or your primary device, which personally I'm not sure you can really just yet still, at least not until iOS 11, but you do have the potential to get half a terabyte of storage in this, which is pretty insane for a tablet. And of course that 12 megapixel camera is very impressive. Probably too good to be honest for an iPad. I'm not actually sure how many people use the iPad cameras, but if you're one of those who do it, I won't blame you because it is a terrific camera. So my initial impressions are actually very positive about this. I wasn't that convinced when Apple announced this how much of a difference there would really be compared to the old 9.7, which is now discontinued. This replaces it. But actually the combination of the thinner bezels makes it look and feel a bit more futuristic and more modern, and also that higher refresh rate display makes everything feel so much faster. Now let's talk prices, because the new iPad Pro 10.5 isn't cheap. The base Wi-Fi model with 64 gigabytes of storage is $649 or £619. If we compare that to the 12.9-inch version, which is actually still quite a bit more expensive, at $799. That's about $150 more. And honestly, I don't know why anyone would actually go for the 12.9 inch model now, because yeah, it's a little bit bigger in terms of screen size, but that's it. There are no other advantages. You're paying $150 more for a bigger screen, which doesn't have the 600 nit brightness or the 120 Hz refresh rate or the slimmer bezels around it. So I don't know why anyone will go for that. I think the 10.5 is the only pro you should really consider. But what makes this a harder sell is the iPad, which is basically the refreshed iPad Air 2, just called the iPad, starting at $329 or £329. That is a lot cheaper, and I think for most people that's probably the best bet in terms of bang for buck. It's not quite as fast, you haven't got the same quality screen, but beyond that, fundamentally there's not a great deal of difference. But this was supposed to be a quick unboxing, it's gone on a little bit longer, but I am genuinely really impressed with this. Let me know what you make of it in the comments below, whether you're thinking about getting one or upgrading from an older one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, and make sure you subscribe because my full review will be coming in a couple of days. Thanks for watching, guys.